So here we go into a TVZ on Daybreak, brought to you by yours truly when I was Platinum on the EU server, I believe. So this was me going random. I do play random on this server, and I have since reached Diamond, both in the last season and in this season. So in the top right, we will have that red Zerd Hansa, who, if I remember right, does put up a very good game. I remember labeling this as a very good game, very close. And I am the blue Terran in the bottom left. I will probably be critical of my play because nobody can be mad about it besides myself. We do have no cheese going on, so I will speed this up just a bit at the start. I also forget how long this game is, but it can't be too long. I did not wall. At this time, I was seeing a lot less walling going down for Terrans, so I figured I would just kind of go along with that. Probably not the best bet if the Zerd went for an early pool. That's neither here nor there. He does throw down the 15 hatch, I believe. Yes, I did delay it for a second, but after that he did get in there. He throws down the gas. I start my orbital. Everything's pretty normal. I only have one worker in gas, so that's not the best move by me. Throwing down this bunker, going to put down some form of aggression, if at all possible, on this base. He doesn't see it until the hatchery spawns, but I don't have any units here, except for this Marine that is moving across the map now. Or this Reaper, I apologize, and he will get into this base, doing quite a bit of damage. I will slow this down, I forgot to do that. He is going to kill a few of these Zerglings, but I need to get that out of there. Zergling speed is almost done. It will be able to catch the Reaper if he is there for much longer. He will probably just die. I didn't micro that very well. 2 factories going down, and my expansion is wrapping up here soon. Zerd not doing much. He's just making drones, taking care of these blots, Brits, or whatnot here, these plates, just so that way he has more room to manage his spine crawler. Bailing us going down for the Zerd and a lot of drones. He knows that I can't put on too much aggression at this point, so he's free to do as he wants. Usually you want to get a reactor on the Barretts and then transfer over for reactored Hellions. I don't know what I was doing here. A Widow Mine and a Hellion. That's the new pro build here. Hopefully that puppy does not pee or poop in my room while I am doing this. Luckily it still does not. It is too afraid to go down the steps that lead upstairs. We do have Marines and Stim. I do prefer Marine Tank in most cases in TVZ and TVT, even though it has fallen out of favor. I don't remember what I exactly go for in this match. It has been about a month. I have reactors on that Barretts and on this factory. Only 2 gases for me, and the Zerd is throwing down his 3rd base. Only the 1 gas for him. He is still getting that though. His layer has started. He probably wants to get the other gases if he is going for any sort of tech path. He does have the Roach Warren down though, so he might be going for a Roach Hydra type build with those Vipers later on. We see a tech lab on here. That will probably be my tank production, unless this was the time where I thought Widow Mines were strong, or, well, of course they are strong. The +1 attack for the Terran player. I'm going to start referring as the Terran player instead of myself. We do have no other tech. We have 3. The geysers going down, however, for the Zerd. The layer about to finish up. He will probably get these geysers relatively quickly once this base forms. And this push being completely lost. So I am down for supply. Tank and Marines have started, however. 8 roaches in production. I do not believe that I scouted this at all. Yeah, I do not know about the Roach Warren at all, and I did not see any roaches. So I am just going for the Marine tank play. More Hellions. I figure Zergling and Banelings will not stand up to this army. More factories going down. I do prefer that mech play at times too. I like going against the meta. When I played Protoss, or started playing Protoss, and realized that everybody went Colossi, I went into Zealot Archon, and as soon as that became a thing, and I saw more builds for that, I was very, very happy. And it also helped my play a lot because I was just going for really whatever, and once you have an actual build, it is very helpful. That roach speed is about halfway done. He'll probably want to move out with that at some point here soon. These factories finishing up. Medevac production should start up soon. Hellions just kind of chilling out here. With that Hellion upgrade starting as well, to do more damage, I wanted to probably do some form of Hellion drop, try to take out as many drones as possible, as most Terrans like to do. A lot of Hellions being produced. Another good thing is if you can turn those into Hellbats once you get the upgrade. Missile turrets going down, assuming that any and all Zergs will do those Mutalisk. I did this instinctively, I'm going to say. I didn't scout anything, however. I only saw Zerglings, so there's not much intel I have. And those turrets aren't too expensive, so it's not really losing out too much. I am down in supply, however. That needs to be fixed. Zerg usually has a little bit of a supply lead just because of their production, but you don't want to be down 30 supply. Baneling speed about to wrap up, and a whole bunch more roaches for the Zerg. Not the best army to take out roaches right here, especially with the Hellions coming down. You do want more tanks, more Widow Mines, and stuff like that. And Marauders, of course, Marauders, very strong. The Spire does go down for the Zerg, as well as the Hydralisk Den. And these Hellions would be good against Hydralisk, but I'd have to get past roaches for those to work out. The Overseer over this army, I'm not really sure why. He did see a few Widow Mines early, but I have since stopped using those. Maybe he just has that to be safe. These Hellions do get into the third base. We'll see how much damage they can do. A lot of Hellions with that Blue Flame upgrade, killing all the drones here. We see 13 workers killed, 13 drones killed rather. But these Hellions, they are going the wrong way. I guess just trying to get some more information, doing a lot of damage to that one drone, 2 drones now. It looks like they 3-shot with that upgrade. I haven't checked that in a long time. I haven't gotten that Blue Flame upgrade since this match, I believe. The upgrade for Hydralisk speed off creep started, and that Spire about to finish up. +1 armor for bio is halfway done. And we see a decently sized army, and supply is back to normal, or I mean at least pretty even. Medevats on the way, 3 evolution chambers on the way. Usually at that point those are for Vipers to get the energy off of, but we will see if he's just getting a whole bunch of upgrades. He has no upgrades on this army so far. These siege tanks will rip through his roaches if given enough time, and the Marines of course always do a decent amount of DPS. Now 5 Evo chambers. He has 2 over here. Are these Evo? Yeah, 2 over here, and I don't know where the other one was. I thought I saw 3. Okay, there's the other one. So he has quite a few of those. Those are almost definitely going to be for Vipers at some point. He does need to get that hive though, and he has a lot of money saved up. He could easily do that. 1 Hydralisk coming down, as well as range and armor upgrades, as well as that Hydralisk range upgrade. Terran does move out, seeing the Zerg army, pulling back those Hellions. You don't want to lose those, even though they are pretty cheap. You do see the army coming in. The siege line is set. Zerg cannot engage once that many tanks are set up when they have a Roach Hydra army, or soon to be a Roach Hydra army. 13 Hydralisks on the way. Other than that, nothing really going on. Terran not producing anything. A lot of money saved up. Getting close to supply locked once more. Not the best macro mechanics. Some more Marines coming out. I do usually speak highly of my Terran macro in the mid-game, but then when I see replays of it, I realize that it is not nearly as strong as I would like it to be. And we do see these Hydralisks finally coming out. Another hatchery going down. The 4th base is about 75% of the way complete. Overseers over this army in case of any Widow Mines, as well as some Banelings mixed in here. 3rd base going down for Terran. More siege chains being produced. Taking to the tower, I get to see all of this. So these siege tanks are set up, and I can just poke in here, and if he tries to move out, then I will get a lot of free hits on him. So this base is going to be hurting, but this army does move in. He doesn't know what to focus, though. The Banelings don't connect on anything. He tries to move in on the tanks, and he takes a lot of damage in doing so. Those Hydralisks dying very quickly to the siege tanks. The Marines clearing up the rest with the Hellions that do a lot of damage to those Hydralisks. This is a choice, a very important choice, is to either fall back or keep going once you lose your tanks. I know that the Zerg lost quite a bit of his army, however, so I am going to lift off this medevac Does it get picked off? It does get picked off, sadly. So I do lose those Blue Flame Hellions, but I do have a drop in the main base. These Marines getting quite a few kills. Looking back at the units lost tab, 25 drones have been killed, as well as 90 units overall. Only one SCV has fallen. I believe that was pretty early on with that bunker that went down. These Marines getting picked off usually want to lift back up and fly away with that medevac boost, but that did not happen in that scenario. We do have an army kind of just sitting here. The third base is done, turning into that planetary. The supply is favoring the Zerd at this time. The armory going down for those extra bio upgrades as well as the mech upgrades. You see a lot of mech in this army, but there are some Marines for that anti-air. It's good to have a nice mix, but I didn't see any Mutalist, and I don't think I started the Spire at all. Oh, I did, however. So maybe I just got those Marines to be safe, and for these drops, doing a lot of damage. More units going down, killing these Evo chambers, thinking that there's some form of upgrade in them. However, that range upgrade is being upgraded somewhere else. 30 drones have been killed overall, and I put the units into a very low medevac. Does it die? Ah, it does fall. Okay, so we have the extractors going down for the Zerg at his now fourth base that is still being made. The main base has only 2 drones in it, and it's basically mined out. The Terran main base only has a few mineral patches left, but still has some SCVs in there. The 2-2 for the bio and the +1 for vehicles coming out from the Terran. A lot of mules coming down for those minerals. That will even out the income very quickly, or put the Terran double the Zerd's mineral income with less SCVs than drones. So we see more Zerdlings being made. He's probably going to want to make a few Banelings, something to take out those Marines and Hellions, and eventually Hellbats. I do believe those are changed at some point. The Widow Mines are set in place if he does charge into this like he did last time. Banelings being morphed, 19 of them. That's quite a few, quite an investment. But we will see if it pays off in this engagement. That +1 range, or +2 range for the Zerg about to finish here soon. A lot of taint shots being hit, or a lot of roaches being hit by those taint shots. More taints and medevats being produced. This army needs to reinforce the already forward army of the Terran. This drop is going in to pull attention away from this main force, and we see this army all falling back off. Okay, it looks like he really wants to hold on to this fourth base, but this push, or this drop, will do a lot of damage to these drones. And it looks to be going uncontested so far. Trying to bait out more tank hits. A few Banelings do connect. These Widow Mines, though, are going to do a lot of damage. We see all of them doing full damage. This army does get cleaned up, however. We see the Roaches and Hydras just being too much for that small group of Marines. Some production still going on for the Terran, however, and this drop did quite a bit. Total of 38 drones have fallen, 39, and now the magic number of 40. The Zerg is moving out, though. He thinks that he can push into this, but the siege tanks in position to hold off against anything. The bunker here also will throw in some added support. This drop finally being taken care of as well as this battle begins. He tries to get close range of the siege tanks, but it's just not nearly a very wise choice. It's not just losing all those while he's trying to get close. The idea is very good in theory, but once you try to do it in a game, it can make you run into that scenario where you just lost your entire army. Fourth base about to finish up for Terran, ahead in supply now by 30. 8 Mutalists and 7 Truckers on the way, switching over into that airplay. Infestation Pit also going down, probably wants to get into that Hive Tech at some point here soon. 4 bases for both players, though. This Overseer does scout the third, but almost goes down, only 30 health left. The army moving out for the Terran could set up a nice push on this fourth base. Only lanes and Mutalist, as well as a few Corruptors for that Zerg player. No upgrades on the air, and I don't believe he kept up on his round upgrades as well. He does want to work on those to combat the Terran's 2-2 and the +1 on vehicle that he has. Both players should have better upgrades than this at this point, but Terran is ahead either way. This fourth base going down very quickly with the siege tanks and even the Hellions doing a decent amount of damage at that point due to having so many of them. The units spawning here die instantly, so Terran ahead on a base. Very bad position for Zerg to have the Terran on up a base. This base also planetary with the missile turret being pretty safe. Probably want another one though, in case Mutalisk did move out. And these Mutalisk are moving out. Not a whole bunch of Marines here to defend against any form of Mutalisk play. So these tanks do take quite a bit of damage, but the Banelings all hitting the tanks for the most part. The rest of this army being cleared up by that air. Hellions though trying to squeeze in here, trying to get into this drone line to do damage since the army they were with has fallen. Decent sized group of reinforcements sitting at the main base should have been sent with that army. Those Marines should have been very helpful against those Mutalisks without losing all those tanks. All these drones though going down, not being microed. 64 drones have fallen. You can look at the unit count and see that he only has 30 left against the 48 SCVs of the Terran. Both want a lot more workers than what they have at this time. Supply has equalized again. Zerg slightly ahead. 3-3 coming out for the Terran's upgrades. Thor's coming out as well as +2 vehicle weapons, doing a lot of damage to those Mutalisks if they fly into the Thors. Vikings not a very strong choice against Zerg in general, but we will see if they can use any extra damage. The Mutalisks just trying to fight the Marines for a few seconds there. Not a very good idea. Marines might be a lot cheaper, but Mutalisks are terrible in actual engagements. You want them to be poking in and out of mineral lines and just being annoying across the map, but not in an actual fight. Hive started for the Zerg. I don't know why that ever came up, that little bar, but the Hive Tech is starting for the Zerg. More Thors, more Vikings. Seeing that I did not see the Hive, I did not see the Infestation Pit, but I did see the Corruptors, so that's why those Vikings are coming out. However, I did not remember that. But these Thors coming out to fight the Mutalisk and keep that mech play up. Marines coming out as well, just completely fighting mech, or completely fighting air rather. Not the best choice because Zerg has a lot of supply room to make as many Zerglings as he pleases. Not using much of his money right now though. He is down 70 supply. Starting those upgrades for his ground army now. The fourth base going back up. He has a well mined out third base, the natural basically mined out, and the main base only has a few mineral patches as well. No gas being mined from the main, very little from the natural. The third base, the only gas mining base. Upgrades for Terran should be finishing soon. He does want to move out when those complete. Getting closer and closer to maxed out on those 4 bases. Greater Spire has started for the Zerg, and those will make those Corruptors Broodlords rather soon. More Roaches coming out for that ground army to hold off against whatever the Terran throws out. And Stan moving out as Terran moves across the map. These rots being taken out mid-game, so that way this is possible. Very risky at times though. If Zerg was on the offensive and he had this extra path, he could get to the Terran base much faster. So it's always a risk-reward scenario. In this case, it seems to be rewarding the Terran with this large army against a much smaller Zerg force. Baneling's going to hit a lot of those front Hellions and a few of the Marines. That Queen is trying to be a hero, not going to work in this scenario. The 3-3 for the Terran, finishing up on those Marines, making them much stronger. And the Thors and tanks with that +2 attack going to help quite a bit. More mech play coming out from those factories. Just a all-around army it looks like. Greater Spire should be finishing up soon. The new 4th base for the Zerg is down here. Not spotted by Terran at all. No hint of it in the world. More stands going down to kill that creep. And just pulling back, making sure that this base was not being taken, it looks like. Broodlords have started, 2 of them, but there's no money left for the Zerg due to so many drones being taken out. You would still only have 48 compared to 54 SCVs. A bad spot for the Marines. They're all going to fall. The rest of the army, though, does have to run away. We see Zerg has lost quite a few more resources than the Terran due to those Banelings as well as running Mutalisk into the army, and those Roach Hydra armies were very, very bad to lose, like the Zerg did when he tried running them into tanks. So we see the +2 armor for the Zerg about to finish up, but this fight here, those Mutalisks are grouped up against all those Thors. They're going to be taking a lot of damage. Siege Chain's doing damage to these Roaches on the ground, as well as the Thors who are cleaning up the rest, but it looks like the Zerg will power through here, getting through the rest of this army, but not very cost effectively. Terran's still up 30 supply, and still producing. Only 8 Roaches in production for the Zerg, and this Thor trying to do as much damage until it finally falls. We see Terran still moving out across the map, full medevacs, and only SCVs in production, however. No more units being produced at this time. It's still a lot of money for Terran. Definitely wants to spend that. Get those upgrades for his vehicles. These drops going over here to the new 4th base, going to do quite a bit of damage. At least take out the Queen. Those Hellions will do a lot of damage to the drones if they actually go and attack the drones, but it looks like the hatchery will be focused down before anything can be done about it. These Mutalisks might clean up these medevats, but it will not be nearly enough, and the drop is very effective to take out that mining base. Especially when the Zerg doesn't have much more income past that. Only 12 drones would be useful here, and he has 21 there. 1 Broodlord in production, that's about all he has. We look at the units tab and we see he will have a total of 4 Corruptors and 17 Roaches. Not even a handful of Mutalisks though. The Zerg, or the Terran army, looks much scarier than anything the Zerg can throw out at this point. A lot of production buildings going down. Looks to be like midst of everything. Looking at the production tab, 3 starports, 3 barracks, and 2 factories. A lot of 2 Thors and Hellions coming out to combat this airplay, thinking that that still would be applicable, but when Zerg has such low income, he can only afford Zerglings, it seems. So those Zerglings might be taken out, but the rest of that army in a very bad position, overextending quite far. So this army has fallen. We'll see what happens here. Try to speed this up just a little bit. Siege tank shots going out, and we see the Zerg running away. Try to speed this up just a little bit more. It has been going on for a while, and I will have to take a short break after this video, or after this replay rather. Drones moving out to the 4th, but that base is already well saturated. No production going out for either side right now. More Broodlords for the Zerg finally. More SCVs at this base. This 4th base also being very well mined out, or very well saturated. This drop going down, I will go back to slowing that down just a bit. This game should be wrapping up soon. Very bad income for both players at this point. Much more for the Terran, however. Let's see. I'm sorry, I'm being messaged and such with related to this puppy that I have, and so trying to take care of it and train it properly. Train her properly rather. The 5th base going for the Zerg, halfway down, the stand going down to see that, and seeing these drones long distance mining. This army moving in. Hellions don't want to fight those Roaches, however. Siege chains getting in position. Vikings for those Broodlords, quite a few of those Vikings, enough to take out the Mutalisks as well. The Zerg doesn't have much to defend against. The 60 supply up for the Terran. Another base going down for the Terran as well on that 5th base, in the same location across the map. Zerg is having to fall back, losing that 5th base. He is only mining from this base now. The Natural and the 3rd have both been mined out completely. I don't know if the drones were seen up here, but the creep should be seen. Yeah, you can see. Oh, the space has been seen already, apparently. Moving back up here, this base will go down, and this is the last mining base for the Zerg. The Zerg won't have much more of an army past this, so he needs to hold. He calls the GG, though. He doesn't have much of an army to really defend against that many tanks. So no last stand will be made. Just a few Roaches. And a couple of Hydralisks, but the Terran army, after a pretty long game on those 4 to 5 bases for both players, a lot of harass going down. The Broodlords were helpful, but there weren't enough of them because of the income from the Zerg, and the Terran army upgraded a decent amount. The Zerg army not upgraded nearly enough. Finally getting on that 2-2, but Zerglings had, I don't believe, any melee upgrades. Let's see. They had 1 melee upgrade, but the Terran army was on 3-3 for those Marines, doing quite a bit of damage to Mutalisks and the like. and the siege chains and Thor's on +2, and Vikings not being upgraded at all. So that would have been very helpful for the Zerd to have those and to not throw away those early armies like he did against those siege tank lines. But GG, and that is